And that kind of takes us to that whole mindset of like, I have to go, go, go and like be super efficient
Mm.
and do lots of things at once. That mindset in general in life is what prevents a lot of women from getting to where they want to go because they are so chronically stressed. Their recovery goes down, their ability to sleep well goes down. They start binging on things a lot, stress eating, alcohol, unhealthy coping mechanisms. The case of
Mhm.
the efforts, I can't do this anymore, I give up. This chronic stress thing has to be addressed. And like, it's like I say these things and I feel like they sound so like obvious and basic, but like if you haven't actually done this, you have no idea how much it will change your life. Like, get a mindset coach or at least a therapist, but more, I mean, that's good too. And like a mindset coach or some sort of it needs to be individualized though, because we cannot see our own blind spots.
Right.
It's like we all think there's some study that says like 85% of people believe that they have it figured out better than like most other humans. Isn't that hilarious? So like you need another set of eyes of somebody who's good at what they do to like come in and be like, "Hey, whoa, this is like, have you looked at this?"
Well,
You
for
know?
us women, it's so natural because like you said, we're moms, we're
Right.
employees or employers, we're wives, we are, pet owners, we're
I
whatever,
know.
we're trying to take care of ourselves. And even my college daughter, she rose in college and is a student and she came home for spring break last year, and she was sitting on the couch and she was like, I feel like I need to be doing something.
Yep.
She did not know what to do with
Yep.
herself because she didn't have to study, she didn't have practice to go to, and it's this mindset that our society is telling us, if you're not busy, you're worthless or you're not
Not
doing
all
enough.
societies. American society, the UK is pretty bad, and Australia is getting pretty bad too. I work with clients from all over the world. I live in Hawaii, which is technically America. That's a whole side story, but it's culturally it's not. And they do not value being busy here. It's socially weird. Being in calm and being present and not being distracted is normal here. It's
Mhm.
actually it's kind of weird here if you're like go 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 rushy and like distracted on your phone. It's kind of like everyone else is present and it's just kind of like, whoa, what's going on with them?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of this is cultural, and even like I had a friend from Guatemala. I got to share this. She lived in Utah. I met her from Utah, but she's Guatemalan. They moved to Guatemala. I will never. I was like, "What's it like being back in the States?" When she came to visit, and she said, "Americans are spinning."
Mhm.
She's like, "They have so much time on their hands compared to a lot of people in Guatemala who are working all day just to have food to put on the table for their family that night, like long hours." Like, she's like, "Here, like, people have so much more time, but they fill it and they fill it and they fill
Yeah.
it, and they're so uncomfortable with just being." And living here in Hawaii, I see the same thing. It's like jaw dropping. I am a changed person, and I was already really into meditation and mindfulness and,
Mhm.
Zen practices and the Alan Watts and the Ram Dass and kind of into all that, but it's at another level. So,
Well, let's talk about what is that stress and that busyness doing to our muscles, and what are the hormonal
mhm,
changes, the cortisol going up, eating away at your muscles. And that's something that I've seen in me. And I mentioned before we came
mhm,
on, I lift heavy weights. I get to failure. I've cut out the cardio. I eat the protein. I'm on a whole foods diet. If I'm stressed, I literally can feel my cortisol eat away at my muscle. And, and then
yeah,
there's that mindset of like, okay, I can feel it. Then there's the fear over it happening. And then, your mind goes into a tailspin. So I want to get into the mindset,
mhm,
and because that changes your hormones, that changes your metabolism, all of those things are outside of lifting those barbells,
mhm,
right? But they
mhm,
will affect your muscle gains.
yeah. Well, First, I'll take one out of Dr. Joe Dispenza's playbook in terms of stress chemicals can become chemically addictive because they're
Mhm.
energizing. And
Wow.
so in
Just
turn
sit with wait, just sit with that for a minute.
yeah, it, like, changed my life the first time I heard him say that,
Right? I mean,
right?
you are addicted to being overworked or stressed
Mhm,
because that's I mean, that is what we are learning. Okay, go
mhm.
for it.
And
Yeah.
we will fill it, and you
Mhm.
may notice, right? Because it feels almost depressing to come out of it, or like something's wrong with me. Like, why am I tired? Like, ugh, I shouldn't be tired. Let me fill this with some new stressful thing in my life so that I can get my fix again. And he also talks about some people, this can be more like sadness, chemically addicted to the chemicals of sadness and all sorts of things, right? But for the sake of this conversation and what's happening in the Western world, I mean,
Mhm.
this is really bad right now. And there's a few factors. Okay, so first of all, when I hear you say this about, I can feel the cortisol coming in. Yes, and for listeners, if you don't know, cortisol is catabolic, so it can, like,
Mhm.
as she's describing, reduce muscle mass or blunt our ability to fully recover our muscles and build muscle mass. For someone like you, I would straight out of the gate recommend more carbs and more consistent carbs throughout the day, because carbohydrates blunt the release of adrenaline and cortisol, both adrenal hormones. They don't bring it back down. They can feel like that a little bit because they'll boost serotonin. So that's why a lot of people, when they're stressed, want candy and sugary things, because it will literally, and dopamine, but it will literally make you feel better in the moment. It's just then there's all the all the aftermath. So preventatively, more consistent carbohydrates throughout the day, healthy carbohydrates can
Mhm.
help blunt the rise of those adrenal hormones. And obviously, I would recommend pairing those with protein also, since
Mhm.
you are training hard and wanting to build muscle.